Thank you, Steve. Sisters and brothers, good morning. It's great to be home in Alberta. I don't get to come here as much as I used to, as much as I'd like to, and in fact I got a hitchhiker ride from one of you and rushed to catch a plane to Toronto this afternoon, but I did want to take this opportunity to give you a brief report, and I can't add anything more than what Steve said about Brother Gib Todd. I was working on the election campaign in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, and we went to the funeral in Saskatoon, and there was a big contingent of CEP people there. Tragic, sad thing that a person can only get a couple of years of retirement before something like this happens. And Gib was a salt of the earth, there's no doubt about it. He was a strong trade unionist, and it was kind of ironic that the funeral was held the day after the New Democrats lost the election in Saskatchewan, because I'll tell you what, Gib was a very, very strong Social Democrat and a very, very strong New Democrat, and I can't add any more than what Steve said about Gib, so it's pretty sad. I'd like to give sort of two reports. I want to give a national report and basically a regional report. Many of you who were at there, and it's good to see a bunch of new faces here. The education part of the area council brings out new people, and I'm so happy to see new people at the area council. But for those of you who were at the Western Region Conference, you heard the good news from our Secretary Treasurer that in fact CEP will be debt-free and deficit-free going into our convention in 2008. This is a very, very important thing that we've done, and it was done basically with the help of the locals and the staff more than anything. Certainly wasn't the officers. We tried to do what we could, but it's certainly through all the hard work of the locals and our staff that we were able to not only eliminate our deficit, but to pay off our debt in an accelerated fashion. And it's really great that we can go to convention debt-free. And just to give you a bit of perspective, from 2000 until 2006, our region, Western Region, ran a deficit every year. And then in 2007 budget year, we came in almost $700,000 under budget in the general and organizing funds. And again, that's thanks to all of you and our staff for getting that done. But I'm here to tell you that we're not all about debt and deficit reduction. That now that we've turned the corner, we're going to start to reinvest. We're going to reinvest in services that we give you. We're going to do more organizing, and we're going to be more active and participate in the broader social movement. It's time to reinvest. But that's not all the financial good news. Our defense fund has met the criteria for lowering your dues, and they will be reduced from 0.098 to 0.78 of 1% of pay on February 1st. And I know that some of the locals in this room decided to absorb those extra costs. So as of February 1st, you will have more money in your bank account to do the things that you like to do and need to do for your members. Anyway, the bottom line is our defense fund is second to none, and we believe that when we're forced to fight the boss, you need to know that you've got a strong, well-paying strike fund that's there for you, and don't you think that the bosses don't know that as well. Rank and File Board has brought up an issue, and we've got a subcommittee looking at it, and that is the whole issue of loans to locals during a strike for their benefits and how they are able to keep their benefits going. We know it's been a big problem for locals going on strike, that it's a significant cost of keeping benefits going, and in fact sometimes things like life insurance you may not be able to re-qualify for, so we understand that that's important. And the board has agreed to get a committee to figure out how we do that. I'd like to talk a bit about organizing, both nationally and regionally. With all the bad news in the pulp and paper sector and the bad news in the manufacturing sector and the loss of over 10,000 members, we in the West have grown to the point where at our Western Region Conference I was very proud to announce that we've become the largest region in the country, more members than any other region in the country, and that's thanks in no small part to our organizer Dave Journey, our staff organizing committee, and most of all you, the locals. We've organized several hundred telco workers in Bell West and Navigata, hundreds of graphical workers at Transcon Printing, and we're not done with that company yet. There's going to be a meeting held next week to decide a plan to reactivate the Transcon Drive that we started in Calgary, and that's going to be done very soon. In construction, Local 777C is growing with over 400 members working in Alberta on various construction projects. CMA, which maybe you don't know, is Construction Maintenance and Allied Workers. They finally reached a very historic agreement after a 10-year fight with the Internationals that will once and for all put an end to the war that they've been having with the Internationals. New school board workers have joined CEP, and more are coming. We're in preliminary discussions with several large independent unions about mergers right here in the West. Our union is changing how we do organizing, and it's something that I've hoped to see for over 20 years. It's simple and has a proven track record. In the United States, SEIU has adopted this model of organizing, and it's the fastest growing union in North America.